What's up, BP Fun? It's me, Relatable Panda, coming at you with a very heavily spoiled review of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Again, this is going to be a very big spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie already, I recommend you clicking off. And if you have seen the movie already, you got about 3 seconds before I get into it. So, here we go. So guys, I want to start off with the cons of this movie because there's only one in my opinion, and that's nobody died. This is supposed to be the end-all be-all of the Guardians, this iteration of the Guardians, that is, and nobody died. We had many curveballs thrown at us with, Rocket and Drax and Peter and just everybody in general. Like, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I went from laughing my ass off to crying to confused to shock to everything. I felt every emotion in this movie, and I haven't felt that in a long time from a movie. So, good there, but I didn't have that gut shot of a death. That's the only thing I was missing. To me, there's 3 people that, well, I guess 4 people that would have been good to kill off, and that's Drax, Rocket, Nebula, and Peter. For these reasons, Drax, we already know Bautista has said he doesn't want to do this role full time anymore because he wants to take on more serious roles. So he would have been a good choice so he could have what he wants and we can get the closure that we need for Drax and himself. It would have been nice to see a scene of him being reunited with his daughter and wife that he has always talked about. That would have been a feel-good moment and kind of a little softer blow to his death. But that's how they could have done that. For Rocket, we saw him get blasted by Adam Warlock in the beginning of the movie, which sent him into like a cardiac arrest almost because of a kill switch that he had implemented on his heart from the experiments that were done on him. Obviously, that would have been a great blow to have within the movie itself because it's Rocket. Everybody loves Rocket, and it would have been the most devastating thing in the world to have him die. Nebula, it would have been good for Nebula to die in this movie because it would have been a full circle moment for her. She started as the villain, she became kind of like the anti-hero, and she would have died the hero. Getting everybody off of the high evolutionary ship would have been a great way for her to die. Now, Peter, we almost had this death happen by him going back to save his iPod Shuffle for Rocket, as we see later in the movie, and him missing his jump point and trying to makeshift a little jet-powered steam to get him over, and him floating in space and crystallizing before our very eyes. I thought that was the end of Peter Quill, but Adam Warlock decided to swoop in and save the day in true anti-hero fashion. I think what they should have done with that is, instead of him actually saving him, yeah, bring him aboard the ship, but still kill Peter off anyway. I don't know, would have been good. Again, you need that gut punch at some point. Did we get it in this movie? No. We did feel a lot of emotions though, which brings me to the pros of the movie. Visually, 10 out of 10. Very pleasing movie to watch. Definitely recommend watching it again. Storyline, again, 10 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I was hanging on to my seat the entire time, from the comedic punchline timing, knowing when to kind of do the comedic relief after a very heartfelt and sad moment in a movie, to just overall overall, you can't go wrong with the James Gunn film and the Guardians of the Galaxy as the film itself. Soundtrack, can never go wrong with the soundtrack in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Again, another 10 out of 10 for me there. Choreography and fighting sequences and just overall action sequences, again, 10 out of 10, man. I don't know what else Marvel is doing, but they really need to learn what they did right in Guardians of the Galaxy and implement it moving forward, because then you will have banger movies every time instead of doing these crap films like Thor: Love and Thunder or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, y'all had... Not the point of this video. Character development, 10 out of 10. I mean, Adam Warlock alone, we saw him go from one of the side villains of this movie to the anti-hero by the end of it, to kind of in his redemption arc. So that's going to be interesting to see moving forward. We got a teaser of the new Guardians. I'm gonna call him that. I don't know if that's a real thing. You can quote me on that if I'm wrong or whatever. The new Guardians with Rocket as the leader, because he did survive, but we get the sad moment at the end where the Guardians are disbanding, y'all, and the OG Guardians that we know will probably never band back together. Maybe a one-off, but you know, Gamora went back to being with the Ravengers. Nebula went off to Nebula stayed on Nowhere with Drax to take care of the children that they saved from the High Evolutionary. Mantis went off to do her own thing. Peter, he went back to Earth to reunite with Grandpa in one of the more heartfelt reunions that we've seen in the MCU. That almost brought a tear to my eye, because there's nothing like a grandpa crying over his grandson coming back after so many years of him being abducted by aliens. So overall, for me, this movie, I will definitely recommend seeing this movie more than once, because you can pick up on multiple different things, from the Marvel logo in the beginning to just the end credits itself. Overall, guys, for me, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I don't have anything bad to say about this movie. I loved it. I love the comedic punchlines here. Drax always had it. We also get a fun moment in Peter Quill dropping the first F-bomb in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a very hilarious way too, because I know he's trying to drive the car and Nebula's trying to get into the car. It's not working. It's not working. Okay, press the button. Okay, button's pressed. Now what? Open the fucking door. Like, who does, like, thank you, Star-Lord. Thank you, Star-Lord. And as given by the end credit scene at the very end, we see Star-Lord and his grandpa sitting down eating breakfast together. We get an interesting headline on a newspaper here that, you know, Kevin Bacon tells all about an alien abduction. We also get the classic white screen. We get a different version of the text with a white screen and black lettering that says, you know, Star-Lord will return, but we don't hear anything about the other Guardians. Also, quick disclaimer, if you've made it this far, if you know anybody that is very heavily involved with PETA, they will not like this movie, because PETA will not approve of this movie because of all of the visual scenes of the animal experimentation. Yeah. So, again, I kind of what I did like about this movie as well is this is a beginning and an end in a sense. We get the beginning of more of Rocket's origin story, and we get the end chapter to the Guardians itself. So this is a great way to do both and further those storylines as itself. I'm interested to see where Marvel's going to go with this moving forward. I don't think it's going to be as good anymore because it's James Gunn and he's no longer going to be directing Guardians. So if you're expecting more Marvel movies to be this good, lower your expectations now. You have been warned. But I digress. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. If you have already seen this movie, what did you like? What did you not like? Let's have a discussion about it. Let me know. I will be reading them for y'all. Again, I have been Relatable Panda for BP Fun, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.